Hi, and thank you for clicking on my Why Do I Still Play Destiny 2 video. My name is Tom. My gamertag is TheBlackFin. So before I get into the core 5 reasons for why I still play, I wanted to give a little bit of background. So I've been gaming since the early 80s. It's just been a part of my life since I was a very, very young child. I've been on the Xbox platform now for about the last 11 years. And my relationship with the Xbox has changed significantly over that time. I used to really primarily chase gamer score. I'd play a game for maybe 7 days and I'd be on to the next one. It was really more about the score versus enjoying any the truly immersive experiences that were out there. I played all the major blockbusters, would go through, get as much gamer score as I could and be on to the next game. Led to hundreds of titles. But all of that changed when I started playing Destiny during the beta back in July of 2014. I was really hooked from that moment, even though it was just a small glimpse of what the game could potentially be. I really like the mashup of what were previously disparate genres. So MMOs, for those who aren't gamers, that's massively multiplayer online games, first-person shooters, adventure, puzzles within the raid, RPG elements, all rolled into one game, and I was hooked. I love the grind. I would spend hours just on the moon, farming helium filaments, waiting for public events to pop. I like the diverse set of weapons. I like grinding for that perfect random roll weapon. That could have been the Imago loot back in the day. I really loved raiding with my friends. So it's funny, the original fire team that we created 3 years ago, or we call it the A-team, we've gotten really close over the past few years. We would raid on Tuesday nights, and even to this day, even though Destiny is not really our main game, we still get together for raid nights. So Destiny's been just a really core kind of part to, my hobbies, relationships, and connections with friends over the past few years. So that brings me to Destiny 2. There was so much hype leading up to the launch of Destiny 2. It had more of everything, more cinematics, more campaign, more things to do when you start looking at everything from lost sectors to just all of the new elements that were incorporated into the game. And it looked amazing. I was so excited. I was consuming content on a daily basis. I would watch all of the key YouTubers. I would follow unknown players updates and Caxus and Houndish and just all of the guys to basically, I couldn't get enough of Destiny 2 content. When they had early access, I was hooked. I was like, this game looks amazing. And so, but herein kind of lies the problem of where kind of we are today. The expectation for Destiny 2 was it was going to take those core experiences that have been built up over the course of 3 years and enhance them. And in some phases of the game, it did deliver on that. But here's the problem. The underlying issue is that most of the development framework from Destiny 1 had to be rewritten for Destiny 2. So that means that essentially, not necessarily starting from scratch, but basically so. Any of you my tech friends out there can definitely fully relate to this. So instead of having a full foundation of experiences upon launch, Destiny 2 really felt more like the original Destiny 1 launch. Elements were missing. Over time, the platform with Destiny 1 continued to become refined. So there were new DLCs that built on top of each other. You had The Dark Below with Crota. You had House of Wolves with Skolas. You had Taken King with Oryx. And then you finally had Rise of Iron with Siva. All of these things built on the previous iteration. It introduced new mechanics into the game. And it really, really continued to flesh out the Destiny universe, both in terms of lore and breadth of experiences. So Destiny 2, upon its launch, it had so much hype that it would be almost impossible to meet and sustain the expectation that had been set. And especially being built on top of a new engine. So now the state of the game, there's been a lot of discontent. There's been a lot of content about this over the past few weeks, everything from microtransactions to lack of in-game content, etc. To me, those are valid points, but I also feel like some of it is short-sighted a little bit. So, we have expectations for real-time updates. We want sandbox changes and tuning, and those things are in the works. And to Bungie's credit, they've actually done a really good job over the past few weeks. You've got Christopher Barrett giving out just, real-time updates across channels, across Twitter, across Reddit, publishing of kind of a development roadmap so that we can see which specific elements are coming. So those are all positive things. So, but now on the more personal level, why do I still play the game? Why do I log in every week? Why do I complete milestones, rerun the same content over and over and over again? Well, reason number one is I'm invested in the franchise. I spent nearly 3,000 hours on the original Destiny. So, and now within even Destiny 2, it's up around almost 800 hours. So having invested all of that time in a single franchise, I don't want to give up. And I mean, it's essentially become my hobby. The second reason for why, it's connection. The IRL connections I've made from playing Destiny are ones that I want to continue to keep moving forward. It's a reason why, even though some of us still play, some of the guys play other games, we all still come together on Tuesdays when we're not traveling or, we're not busy, and we try to catch up with one another. Sometimes it's less about the gameplay and it's really more about just being there, with your friends. The third reason is my kids. So I have a 10-year-old and a 15-year-old, and we spent a lot of time gaming together over the years. I introduced gaming to them when at a very, very early age, everything from Lego Star Wars, on up into Destiny and beyond now. My 15-year-old has aspirations to be an esports athlete, calls it athletics of the mind. Great Rainbow Six player, by the way. But anyway, so people take for granted game ratings. So having a game that's rated T, it's more about taking out robots and monsters. It's a little bit easier way to introduce shooters. So, and it's how we've really connected. And I look forward to connecting. When I heard that Destiny had a 10-year roadmap, and I lay that over kind of my oldest son, as he's going to go off to college, I looked at that as a way for us gaming as a way to stay connected. It's always been a core part of my life. I wanted to share that with them as well. The fourth reason why I still play is, to me, Destiny, it's a marathon. It's not a sprint. So, and what I mean by that is the reality is Destiny may not be for every type of gamer. One of the issues that I saw with Destiny 2 was this desperate attempt to cater to new players, almost forsaking original Destiny players with the recent launch of Destiny 2. Our gear was taken away so that everyone could start from zero. Power levels don't mean anything anymore. Random rolls and a lot of the grinds and the RNG aspect of it has been kind of removed a little bit. So even when you think back to Iron Banner and Trials in Destiny 1, Trials sustained over time because power mattered. It was highly competitive. It was a rush to play it, the game mode. But I still have faith that the Bungie Live team is listening. They understand the needs of the community, and over time, we'll have a robust experience. Hopefully, when I look back 3 years from now, while I'm still playing the game, that content has built this great experience in this platform over time. And so my hope is that we're able to continue to build as we head into Destiny 3, that a lot of these core elements and the expectation for the community is that, the elements that were introduced in Destiny 2 are going to be just core and foundational to 3. And so as the story evolves, as the lore evolves, as the community continues to grow, as possibly competitive elements come into the game, that all of these things will just continue to progress over time. But my expectation for Destiny of where it is today is very similar to what was in Destiny 1. I'm just enjoying the content for what it is, and I'm looking forward. We have the benefit now of looking back over 4 expansions that came out over the course of a couple years. You look at Dark Below and House of Wolves, Taken King, Rise of Iron, our expectation of memory of Destiny is really the culmination of all of those expansions, not just, the initial launch of the game. So I think in that way, it's a little unfair to judge the game completely against that. I understand there are people that do, and that's perfectly fine. But for me personally, I view this as a marathon. The fifth reason for me of why I still play Destiny 2, I simply enjoy the gameplay. I mean, for all the flaws in the current iteration, I still enjoy it. The gunplay to me has always been a good mix. It's kind of a go-between COD or Call of Duty, your one-shot kills, and, back in the day when we were playing Halo and that longer time to kill. So it's kind of that sweet spot in the middle. I enjoy the public events. I enjoy the lost sectors. I enjoy the occasional raid. And my hope is that this time around again, that as the franchise continues to grow, we're going to see these core base elements back into the game. So I'm not as worried about that over time. But again, I thought I normally don't publish Destiny videos, but I felt like with everything that's going on within the community, all of the backlash against why people are playing Destiny, some of the reduced time with Destiny streamers, etc. I felt it was important to at least give my perspective here on why I still play. But thanks again. I look forward to hopefully seeing you out there in Crucible sometime. Again, my name's Tom. Gamertag is TheBlackFin. Thanks again for listening.